just did a whole recording of everything that I wanted to do in the welcome and the intro, and I didn't hit the record button. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the shop. I've got my CRX in here today, and we're gonna be getting it ready for Classic Hondas on the Dragon. There's really not much time left, so I've kinda gotta get on it. There's a few little things that I wanna do to it, just some minor little touches that I wanna get it ready. And even though it is far from done, I still have to do under the hood, and I've got some plans for the engine and some engine work under there, and a little bit of power adder later. But right now, we just gotta get the car looking good. We're gonna drive it on the Dragon, so we gotta make sure the suspension's good, the brakes are good, and they should be, but also the interior, because that's where I'm gonna be. I know I've shown you guys before, I've got a little tear in this seat right here. That little tear, that little worn spot, I wanna get that seat fixed. The passenger seat actually looks really good in the car, but it does have a little cut in the back. But since I have so many CRXs right now, I'm fortunate enough to have all of these seats to choose from. So I'm gonna choose the best two out of all of these seats and this extra little bottom right here, and the seats that are in the car, and kind of make a good set of seats for this car. This way I have the best looking seats and the best looking car I've got, and I can take that to Classic Hondas on the Dragon. Along with all of these seats and all that I have to do, I've got a few other little things. I do have a climate control that I want to put in it, but I don't think I'm gonna, because I have a plate, and that climate control that is in there is really not that bad, so I think just the plate's probably gonna work. Armrest top over here and some leather to put on it. I even got a little H to put on the hood because it doesn't have an H on the hood, and I just like the Honda H on there. Some visors. Got this little spoiler. It comes off of eBay, but I really like it. Matches well with all of the black molding on the car. I think it matches well, so I'm gonna try to throw that on too. Hang out with me while I get all this stuff done. Not too difficult, it's just 4 bolts on each seat. Unplug the seatbelt light, and that's pretty much how you get them out. But you can see on the back of these seats right here, this is the passenger seat, and no, I'm sorry, this is the driver's seat, and it has got a big tear here. It's got a little hole in the top bolster right there, and a little nick there, and this is the passenger seat right here, and it's got a big cut that goes right down the whole center of the back right there. I'm gonna take these seats out. Well, actually, I think what I'm gonna do is try to take the top off of this seat and use the top off another seat that I have over there. I've got the best passenger seat right here. This is the best one that I have, and it is right here, so I'm gonna pull it out, get it cleaned up, and get it into this car. Swap the top off of that one with maybe the top off of this one, because it looks really good, and that'll make the best set of seats for this car, because it's the best looking car that I've got, so I want it to have the best looking seats I've got. That, just a simple little vacuum, man, the seat came out good. It looks really nice. I think this seat's gonna be perfect. Cushions, the bolster, and all that is in great shape. Pretty stoked on that. It's gonna be great in that car. So after going through the seats and what I have, this is the driver's seat that is actually from this car, and this is another driver's seat. It looks like the best option for me is to probably take this top off and put it on here and put this one over here, because even though I'm just taking all the best stuff for this car, I still have to put this stuff back into my race car over there, and I also have a black CRX outside that'll be for sale one of these days. But it's outside that I need to put the interior back in. So I'm using everything that is here except for maybe the extra bottom of the seat. So I'm gonna take the top off of this seat and put it on this seat. Then I have absolutely no idea how to do that. That should do it. That looks like I have a good set of seats in the car. This is a good driver's seat and a good passenger seat. Check it out. Finally, the car has no rip in the bolster and it'll look really nice inside. So I'm pretty stoked to get that in there. Before I put the seats in the car, I want to take apart some of the dash because I have this little climate control repair plate that goes on the AC controller here, like this. Look, I've got this one right here, and you can see that this is a good one, and it is not cracked. But mine in the car has a little crack right there and a little crack right there. Yeah, you can see the cracks in it right there, right on the top and right on the bottom. Anyway, I'm gonna take this plate, and it goes on right here, and it's sort of the repair kit for that, and it's gonna looks like it's gonna screw in right there and on either end and line up. So I'm gonna take this little plate and put it on the one that's in the car and just save this one for another day, and hopefully I will never need it, and this will just repair that one. But one day I might need that one, so I'm just gonna hang on to it just in case. Well, in order to mount the plate, I'm gonna have to pull off this center console piece right here, which means taking off the shift knob. There's a screw here, one back there, I think right up here under the dash. It's inside the glove box right there, so I just gotta pull those screws out. I'll be able to pull this center console off, and that'll give me access to mount this plate right on the climate control. Shift knob's off, everything's off, that should pull off. And that should give us access to that panel without having that piece of molding in the way. I should be able to just put the plate right on there and give us a nice, solid, and strong climate control and hopefully stop those cracks from getting any worse than they are. The key here, I think, is to take one off at a time and not let this thing fall apart. Let's see if we can make it happen. As broken up as this is, I sure hope this plate works, but if it doesn't, I'll just go ahead and put the other climate control in. So far, so good. Now we're losing it. Uh-oh. Might be losing it. I'm not sure if there's another way around it. I might have to bend that tab out just to get it out enough to get this to go behind it, because it's just not quite going in there behind it. So maybe if I bend out one of those tabs just a little bit, slide this in behind there, that'll do it. I guess I could probably look it up on YouTube or something. There's probably instructions somewhere. I've got it in there, but I still have to take it back off because there is 3M tape on the back, so I'm gonna take that off and get it to stick on there some which way. I got the plate installed and it looks pretty good. The climate control still all works like it's supposed to. Nothing was really broken except that it was just cracked right there. So this should work for me just fine. I have the other climate control, and maybe one day I'll put it in here, but for now, this is gonna work. I think it looks good. Once I put the molding and the center console piece back on it, it's gonna look beautiful. So let me get that done and then we can check it out. that climate control is in, and I got those seats set up. We still got to get them put in. It's actually the next day for me, even though it was just a minute ago I was working on that climate control. But it's the next day for me, so I want to do these visors, get the spoiler put on. I got the H to put on the front, and then get the seats put back in the car. I've got a set of visors in here, but they're just kind of, I don't know, bent and puffy, and just they don't really look that good to me, so I'm going to take these out. I mean, that one's got a good little curve in it right there. So I'm gonna get those out and get those other nice flat ones that I got in here. There's just a couple little screws in them. You can kind of see right there, a little bit rusty, but they actually have a space that goes straight across right there that you can just use a regular old flathead to take them out. So they grab those out and we're gonna slide the other ones in. That's both visors in, and that's good. They're nice and straight, nice and flat. And while I was at it, I also threw in the armrest cover right here. I just sort of wrapped it with some leather that I had. It's not a very good job. There's someone online selling the fabric and some foam for this, so I think that I'm gonna try to order that and then make that thing a little bit more like an OEM, because I'm no upholsterer, but at least I've got it covered right now, and I can lay my arm there. If that's coming off, I'm gonna order that foam and order a cover for that and get it as OEM as I can. But at least it's in here and I can lean on it for now. I'm just gonna take a little alcohol pad and rub it down the bottom of this thing. It's been used before on another car, so I just wanna make sure that everything's cleaned off, there's nothing sticky on there, and then when I put my 3M tape on there, that it stays, and this thing doesn't come flying off and hit somebody while we're cruising down the tail of the Dragon. Now I'm just gonna peel the 3M tape, stick it on the trunk, and then cut the edges so it fits perfect. Like I said, this was on, I think, an EG and was cut already, but I'm just gonna put it on the CRX and then cut it where it needs to be cut. It's just a piece of rubber, but it looks really cool in the back. I'll show you, check it out. It's just gonna lay right across the trunk, pretty much just like that. Any which way I can kind of get it to line up, I'll just push it a little bit and the 3M tape will hold it out. And you can see it's a little bit long over the edges of the trunk. I'm not gonna try to wrap it down that curve because there's no way that 3M tape's gonna stick and pull that rubber down. So I think I'm just gonna cut it right off at the trunk. I've done them like that before. And like I said, I like how it looks. It's not like really supposed to be there, but I think for eBay, this little piece of rubber, this little extra accent looks just nice on the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it. Let me just clean it up with a little alcohol before I stick it down. Pretty happy with how straight that is. That looks really good. All I gotta do is trim these little edges on the side. I'll show you real quick before I cut them. Just trim those little edges and this thing should be perfect. See, it's just hanging off just a little bit right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that little edge off on each side. There's the same thing on this side where it's hanging off just that little bit right there. This spoiler, like I said, was for a different car, but now it's on here and I think it's pretty slick. It looks really cool. Even straight on from the back, you get a cool extra black line across with the red. And I like that contrast of the black and red. That's one of the things I really like about this car is how broken up the black and red is. So I'm gonna just go ahead and cut those edges and this thing looks awesome to me. Stoked to get that on there. That's one less thing I got to do. I'm just going to throw these seats back in the car. I've still got the little H to put on the front. I painted it earlier, but it came out like shit. So I'm going to try to redo that here in a minute. But first I'll get these seats in and then the car is almost ready, man. I think, guys, that's probably going to wrap this one up. That's pretty much everything on the car. I got the seats done. I got the climate control done. I got the spoiler put on the back. I did not get the H put on the front, though, but you saw the paint. It looks like crap. So when you see this car at Classic Hondas on the Dragon, I'll have it on there, and it'll look fine. But it looks bad right now, and I've got the seats in, and I'm really, really happy with how they came out. It looks really great. So, guys, all that's left now to do is take it for a test drive. Well, that's going to wrap up for this video, you guys. I'm going to go whip that thing around town because it's pretty much ready to go to Classic Hondas on the Dragon. I just want to put a few miles on it, make sure everything is okay and everything's working fine. Then I'm going to get it loaded up in the box, and we're going to get on that trip. So you see the itinerary right here. We'll be at Home Depot in Wilmington on that Friday before the Classic Hondas on the Dragon. That's October 6th. So if you're watching this later, sorry you missed it. We'll be at that Home Depot in the morning in Wilmington. Meet us there. Check out the itinerary schedule. It's right here. And we've got a map of everywhere we're going. Just follow the map right here. Screenshot this stuff and stick with us, man. It's just a few more episodes before we actually get to the Dragon. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. If you're grandma, grandpa, be sure to stay mad. I can hear the pitter patter all the way over here. Those seats in the car. I want to put this piece in this piece. I like peaches. Millions of peaches. It's a climate control. It's a climate control repair kit. I have to pull off this. Let me turn that light on. That'll give me access to mount this little shit. And shit.